Hello there, welcome back to the Cursing Seamstress. I think this will be short. I have a couple of things to show you. Today is a really dreary day. It's raining and it's cold. I don't know what the temperature is. I think it's in the 40s. It's usually not this cold where I live in October, but we have had some chilly days and nights for the past week or so. All right, so what I have today is an indie pattern that I have made twice. It is by the company Patterns for Pirates, and it's a PDF. I think all of their patterns are PDF. I'm not sure, but I think so. You should go to their site and take a look. There are some nice patterns for adults and children. I think they have a pretty good selection of men's patterns as well. And what I bought was, well, first of all, the reason I went there and the reason I probably started out with a search to find these is that I am not a joiner or a great participator in contests or things like that, and this is the first one that I've ever participated in, and this is the Sew Man Pants Challenge, and I don't know why it hooked me, probably because of my grand boys. Especially the 10-year-old, he needs clothes. He doesn't need clothes, he's got clothes, but the little one, the 6-year-old, inherits all of his brother's clothing, plus he inherits clothing from a cousin who is 2 years older. So he has a lot of clothes. Griffin has enough clothes, but if anybody, can use something, it's him. So anyway, I got hooked listening to the challenge, and I can't remember who all's putting it on. Viv is, and I don't remember Viv's channel name, and Elizabeth made this and I can't remember the other person. It's 3 people, and I assume they're the judges also. And so the challenge is to make something for a male. It cannot be underclothing. So it can be pants, shirts, jackets, whatever. And it has to be made in October, finished in October, started and finished in October. And the contest ends Wednesday, October 31st. And you have to upload your photograph, singular or plural, to your Instagram page, and then you have to tag each one of those, I think it's 3 people in it, but I will, below, I'll put the information if you are interested. There's still a week left as of now. I'm not sure when this will go up. I probably will get this posted maybe, today's Friday, probably not till Sunday, but anyway. So I went to Walmart in the town about 45 minutes away from me, because our Walmart really does not have a great selection of fabrics. They have a lot of cottons. Occasionally they'll have some knits. They've got fleece, and they've got the Waverly line of medium weight cottons for curtains and things like that. But the other Walmart that I go to has a really nice selection. They have a lot of things, maybe not rayon, but certainly a good selection of knits. And I found a sweatshirt knit, and it was really cheap. I don't remember what I paid. I think it was like $3 a yard, something like that. It was inexpensive. And this is it. It's a sort of a heather gray color, and it has some linear stripes horizontally going on. The stretch is that way mostly, a little bit vertical stretch, but mostly horizontal. It's not a lot of stretch. So it's not it was easy to sew with, I will say that. It's not the most perfect fabric. I did notice that there were areas of the fabric that had a yellow tinge to it, and other areas where there was a brighter or a whiter look to it. But it feels really nice. It's very soft on the inside, and again, it was easy to sew with. I don't have his pants because he has them and he has worn them. I gave them to him and then went and took photographs of him. And I will insert those photos so you can see what the pants look like on him. He's very photogenic in my opinion. He's a very handsome fellow and very sweet. He was a little bit embarrassed about having me take these photos because I went downtown in our town, and there almost is no downtown. It's all of the buildings are falling down, and not all, but a lot, and a lot are empty. There are a couple of businesses that are doing well, but overall, like most of the small town downtowns, there's not a lot there. But we had fun anyway taking pictures, and so I will insert those. I'll just tell you about the pattern and what they have on there. When I bought the pattern is they have a bundle for these. They're called joggers, and so the bundle includes children's joggers. And the children's are called baby bear joggers, and then there's mama bear joggers, and then papa bear joggers. That bundle cost $24 for the PDF. And you get separate files for each one of those. And these were for Griffin, they were the baby bear joggers, and they went all the way from, I don't remember exactly, but infant sizes all the way up to a size 14. I made a size 14 for him. I could have made a 12, I think. These are generously sized, at least in the children's, and maybe in the, not so sure about the mama bear joggers. But let me show you. I went ahead and made mama bear joggers for my daughter. And I've not yet had her try these on, but I'll just go over the pattern a little bit with you. This was fabric that I found at a thrift store. It was brand new. It was cut fabric hanging in the linens section with all the sheets and rugs and whatever. And I love looking there to see what I can find. So this is a Lycra, I guess. It feels wonderful. It's very smooth. It's not thin, but it's not thick. It's just the medium weight. It's opaque, and this was pretty good to work with too. It wasn't horribly shifty or anything like that. And let me just tell you about, and I cut for her. She usually wears a medium. She's 6 feet tall, and I think ready to wear Mrs. She wears a 6 or an 8, I think. And she's had 2 children, so I think her hips are wider than her upper torso. The pattern is pretty cool because it gives you so many options. This is the mama bear jogger that has been pieced together. And the options are, for the mama bear anyway, for a high rise or a low rise fit at the top, at the waistline. I chose the regular waist. I didn't do the low rise. Actually, it says mid rise or low rise. I did the mid rise for her. I didn't even ask her what she wanted. I think she'll be fine with it. You can make these in a shorts length also. And a calf length, and you can also, for the waist, you can finish it with a tie, just with a kind conduit for the tie to go through, a channel for the tie to go through, or you can do a 2 channels, and I think it calls for 3/8 inch elastic, 2 channels with that elastic going through each one. Or you can do the, I don't know what it's called, but it's just, you know, that extra piece of fabric at the top that's pulled tighter, and use that sort of a waistband that you see on a lot of knit skirts, where you just fold it over. I don't know what, maybe it's called the fold over type waistband. I did, on both of these, I did the one with the 3/8 inch elastic and the 2 channels. That's how I finished the top. For the bottom, for the leg bottoms, you can either insert elastic in the bottom, or you can hem them, or you can just finish the edge, the raw edge, and cuff them up, turn them up. That's how I finished Griffins. I just serged the bottom, and then I turned them up, and I actually tacked them at the side seam and the inner leg seam so they would stay tacked up in that position for him to wear. Let's see, what else can I say? So you have front and back pieces. You have a waistband piece that is not printed out. They give you the measurements and you just cut it out yourself. The same for the actually, I think there's another finish, and I think there is a choice of a bottom band for the legs, and they just give you the measurements for that too. And I may end up, for my daughter, because she is so tall, or although these are very generously sized, and on me they are probably 4 inches too long, and I'm 5'4", I used to be 5'4.5", probably 5'4". So I may end up putting on a band on the bottom for her. I'm not sure. Like I said, she has not tried these on yet. What I would warn you about with this pattern is no fault of the pattern at all. But when you are pulling your elastic through the channels, make sure the channel is big enough so that you are not really pulling hard and stretching. That's what I noticed on Griffins, is I think the channel, I think I made it too narrow, and I think I pulled and stretched and pulled and stretched so much that I stretched out the elastic, and I ended up having to cut a little bit off to make it more off to make it fit his waist. And so I was more careful with hers, my daughter's, not to do that, to make sure the channel was big enough so I wasn't really having to pull so much. Oh, I forgot to tell you too, they give you choices of the pockets. You can either have a patch pocket that is sewn on the outside, or you can have what's called a slash pocket, and I did the slash pocket for both. I ended up, I'm not that comfortable sewing knits. Both of these came out really well, but I certainly did use a ballpoint needle. And before, actually I started making these, and then I thought I really needed to change the needle, because I'd used that needle to make Griffin's joggers, and then I made a couple of other things out of woven fabrics that I did not, I just kept that same needle in there. So I did. I think I started sewing, and then I thought I need to change the needle, and I did. And I think that helped a little bit. So what I did for a lot of the seams was to stitch the seam with a basting stitch, a regular straight stitch first, and make sure it was nice and neat, make sure it looked good, and then I would take it to the serger and do the final seam. That worked really well. Actually, you know, the thing with knits is if you're sewing a knit on a seam that is not going to be stretched, if you're doing like a boat neck or if you have a really wide arm opening at the bottom or something, you don't need to use a stretch stitch. You don't need a zigzag or that lightning bolt or anything like that. You can use a straight stitch. So, but anyway, so I just would use the straight stitch as a basting stitch, and then I would finish it on the serger. And I think I did use that lightning bolt stitch here on the slash pocket to do top stitching. And there also is, the pattern says that you should, it's optional, but you can top stitch the outer side seam on each one. I did do that. I think it gives it a nice look. And I did that with a straight stitch. I did not use a lightning bolt. There's nothing stretching it downward. So I did that. And I don't know, I guess that's really all I have to say about these. The crotch in these pants is not a real slouchy crotch like you see on some of the newer joggers that are out there. It's not real high either, but it's not that real baggy crotch look. But the legs are narrow. They are not baggy at the bottom. Let me just show you on these pants. I would try them on, but I am not going to embarrass myself. Look how narrow they are at the bottom. That's my hand, so you can see that they are fairly skinny-legged. This is the waistband. I'm proud of how this came out. This is the inside of the waistband. I did serge around this inside seam here. It's a little different, this pattern is. I don't think I've ever done a waistband like this. But first you construct the pants, then you separately construct the waistband. And so you put in the channels for the elastic, put the elastic in, do all that, then you attach the waistband to the pants. The thing you have to be careful about is that when you are attaching the pants to the waistband, just be careful, because the top of the waistband is gathered, but the edge that you are attaching to the pants is not gathered. So you have to be careful that you flatten that out while you are attaching it. The other thing that I ended up going back and doing was, and I would recommend doing this beforehand, is once you've cut your waistband out and you've sewn, well, after you've cut your waistband out, it's probably a good idea, and you've sewn it together, short sides together, and you fold it over longwise, that you mark the side seams and the centers. You've got the center already by the seam, but mark the front of the pants, waistband, and then the sides. That will help you when you are attaching it to your pants. I kind of went back after, I think even after I put the elastic in, and went back and tried to do that, and it did work. The first time I went around trying to pin it, I ended up with a lot of extra fabric in the pants, and I just had to go back and then mark it, and it was perfect. It was a perfect match. But you're dealing with two stretchy fabrics, and so you have to be careful that you're not accidentally, stretching one, and you're not aware of it until you get all the way around the pants and you realize you've got a bunch of fabric left over. That's the only thing that I would recommend that they don't really talk about in the instructions, but the instructions are good, and I really do, I recommend this. I think these are adorable. The next thing that that I'm going to do is I'm going to make some for me. I have some fabric. I don't have it with me. When I went to Walmart last week, I bought a bunch more fabric knits, and I've washed them. I didn't bring them up here to show you, but I did want to show you this. I placed an order with Girl Charlie for the first time. Girl Charlie is a company that specializes in knit fabrics. And I did this because my grandboy, Griffin, was dressing up as Waldo, as in Where's Waldo? And it's a really simple, it's such a great idea. It's such a simple outfit. I think he wears blue jeans and he wears a red and white striped shirt, long sleeved shirt. He wears a red and white striped beanie. I think he has a camera, or no, he has binoculars that he wears around his neck. I think he just wears tennis shoes and glasses, round glasses, I think. So my daughter had ordered a costume for him. It came, it was too small. I think she sent it back. And I didn't know if she was gonna get the right size back in time. So I had ordered actually ordered 2 fabrics, and I think one is in the washing machine right now. So this is the knit that I ordered. I think I ordered 2 yards of this, and I just got it today. The mail lady came and beeped. It's pouring down rain. She ended up leaving it in a plastic bag. But anyway, I did go out to get it. So this is it. And so I don't know what I'm going to do with this now. I hear so many people say how much they love stripes. I really don't love stripes. They're fine. But, you know, I could wear stripes or not wear stripes. So I am headed out this evening. It's the kind of a day that I would really love to stay in and listen to my audiobooks and not do anything. But I feel like I got everything done this morning. I cleaned out, I'm selling my truck. I cleaned it out, vacuumed it out, wiped it all down with Murphy's oil soap and water. It just makes everything smell so good, and it's just a great cleaner. Did that, and so that's ready to go, and vacuumed my garage out, and washed some clothing, and that's pretty much what I've done. But I have been invited out to eat lobster. I've gone every year for the past few years anyway. It's a church thing. And so I'm obligated to go to that. And I'll enjoy it once I get there. So that's it. So I appreciate your watching. Try this pattern. Patterns for Pirates. Look at their website, see what you think. I was very pleased. I have yet to make the men joggers. I don't have a man really to make them for, but I'm definitely going to make me some. So stay tuned, and I will talk to you later.